Hey everyone, welcome back. Happy Tuesday today. Well, maybe not happy Tuesday. Bitcoin miners were down for the most part, except for two today. Things were looking a little bit better, like midday, towards the end of the day. But then things came crashing down a little bit on the miners. Bitcoin being down a little bit as well. It wasn't a great day for us, but it's not unexpected because we've had such a nice rally here in the miners in the past couple of weeks. So a little pullback, not a big deal. We'll take a look at some news stories that we have on Bitcoin as far as where could it go. In the short term, at least. Long term, I'm not worried about it. It's still going to go up nicely for us. It's just going to take a little bit more time here. We're ending, obviously, Q3 right now as it is. So there's going to be some shenanigans happening here. We'll see if we can get a green month for September in Bitcoin. And what else do we have here? We have a rumor on Cypher possibly getting a deal with Oracle for OpenAI. That was pumping the stock, obviously, in after hours today. It's up still like 5% up right now. It was up at like 14% at one point. So it has come back down. We'll see if that rumor is true or not later on this week, potentially, or next week. What else do we have there? That's basically it. Then we'll get into Q&A on it. So let's see what's going on here. But first, we have to get through this. As always, non-financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. As always, helps me out tremendously here. So let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin has had a 3-day losing streak, basically. We had a losing streak on Sunday. We were down just a little bit, 0.41. On Monday, we were down 2.21%, and today we were down a little bit again, 0.64% here. It seems like the 112,000 range is holding up, at least right now. On the new day for Bitcoin, we are up just a little bit. We are up 0.36%, nothing major on it. We had also the Fed talk today. Right, their concerns are on employment, basically, and I guess it wasn't as dovish as some would have thought. That's why we had, obviously, things fall down a little bit in price today. So markets were down, along with, obviously, Bitcoin here being down. Ethereum was also down today, just a little bit also, not that much. It's kind of acting a little bit like Bitcoin there, down 0.89%, so nothing major. Miners, for the most part, Bitfarms has been taking a beating here the last 3 days. It was down 15.64% today. After being down just a little bit yesterday of 1.6%, but it's had a huge run up here, right? I mean, from where it started to really rocket up here, it was up roughly 176% here. We are still up almost 95%, 98%, almost 100% basically on it. So a little pullback, profit taking happening there, I think is healthy, right? The RSI has come back down below 70 here. On the 1 hour chart, we can see RSI is back down to the 30 range, which is looking like it's almost oversold there. 50-minute chart, same thing. It's been hovering right around the 30 mark, even getting below that on the RSI, leading me to believe that we might be getting a reversal here happening here in the next day or two. So that's kind of what we're seeing with Bitfarms, at least right now. Looking at BitTier was down quite a bit as well today. It was down 7.74% after being up much higher. It got to a high of $18.84 and then came back down. If you look at the 15-minute chart here, you can see it's been a wild day, right? We started out basically, let's see, where did we start out here? Monday, Tuesday. Okay, so right there, Tuesday in the morning, we were up nicely, right? Pre-market hours, things were pumping, and then the market opens up and things are falling on us here, hard on all these guys here. Kanga was down 3.06% today as well. This one also came down, went up, and then actually came down some more. Cypher finished out the day in the green here, being up 1.36%. That one also started out nicely in the green here, and then came back down, went up a little bit, came back down, went back up to finish out in the green here. Cleanspark was up also nicely pre-hours here. We had a gap happen on that one. When that one started trading in the morning here, get up to $15.19, and then it came back falling down here, but still maintained a positive end of day, so that was not too bad. CORZ was down a little bit today, 0.99%. Hive was down 2.36%. I mean, you can see all these guys here were pumping in the morning, and then things just went down here. So market shenanigans happening there. Hut A was down also 6.47% after being up much higher in the beginning. IREN was actually down 0.31% after being, I think this was a new all-time high for it at $44.23. And then that one came back down here. Mara was down 3.49%. And that one, Riot was down 2.46%. Wolf was down 2.18%. Bitcoin holding companies, MicroStrategy was down 2.43%. Galaxy down 161%. Coin was down 3.58%. Metaplanet was down 5.7%. Exodus was down 3.8%. This one is Nexon, right? Yep, Nexon was down 4.9%. Quite a bit there towards the end of the day, like the last hour and a half something. Similar was actually up 1.87%. and Phoenix was flat. GameStop was up just a little bit, 0.07%. Small miners were mixed for the most part. DMG or DMG Power, no, DMG, just plain DMG. I'm getting those two mixed up. DG Power and DMG was down 8.4. DG Power was down 5.49%, and the other ones were up just a little bit. The minor ETFs were down across the board here, 1%, 3%, 3%, almost 2.5% there. The Ethereum holding companies were down for the most part. BMNR being down 1.11%, Bit Digital being down 1.59%, BTCS up a little bit, 0.89%, Game up, Game being down, sorry, and SBET being up 2.41% here. Other companies that we kind of track here as well, ABTC was down 4.14% here on the day. This thing continues to slide here, it looks like. Let's take a look at the daily chart on this one. Yeah, I mean, still hovering right above the 50 SMA on this one at least, on that one. What else do we have here? Wi-Fi had a nice day, got to a high of 29.53 and pulled back down here. Open was down another 15.39%. This thing has been up huge also recently, right from the bottom right around here someplace. I mean, this thing was up 2,000%. We're still up on it. If you got into it at that point, you're still up 1,239%, so you're still doing pretty good. Oracle was down 4.36%. Nibius was up 1.13%, and Soluna, after being up much, much higher, being as high as 297, came back down to $2.37, being up 12.86%. This thing has had a huge run up here as well. If we look at it from the bottom, more or less, up to here, it was up 579% here in a matter of, what, 12 trading days, roughly? So that's a huge gains on that one. We might see some pullback on that one happening in the next couple of days here, it looks like. But we'll see. All right, miners here in the after hours right now. Let's take a look at BitDeer. BitDeer is up 2.41%. Bitfarms is down another 3.47%. Cypher is up 6.57% right now. So we'll see what that story is and that rumor on them, if that actually plays out. Cleanspark's up a little bit in the after hours, 0.65%. CORZ Scientific up 0.06%. Hive is up 1.61%. Hut 8 is up 0.65%. IREN where's that one finish up at? 0.67%. Mara is up, let's see, 0.79%. Riot is up 2% on that one, so that one's doing pretty good. TeraWolf is down 0.62%, and Soluna after hours right now is down 7%. So kind of like I said, we might be going down on that one because that one's had a huge run up here as well. And hopefully you guys took some profits there on that one, being up so nicely on it, but we'll see what happens going forward here. All right, looking into, we got some stories to talk about Bitcoin as well, but right now we're just going to take a look at Bitcoin here for the month here of September. We're only up 3.49%, rather lackluster right now, performance-wise here. For the quarter, we are up only 4.62%, so we're not too far away from getting back to where we were just the end of June, right, where Bitcoin ended up at. So it's not a great quarter for Bitcoin. It's been a pretty good quarter for the miners, though, which is nice. And then Bitcoin ETF inflows right now, we are seeing some outflows happening yesterday. We have an update on this. We were down 363 million for yesterday. Today, it looks like we're down 106 million right now. We still need BlackRock to report here, but big seller yesterday was Fidelity with FBTC. And today, we're also a pretty big seller there also. So we'll see where IBIT comes in tomorrow, and we'll see where things lead us from there. All right, a couple of stories here really quick on Bitcoin, what's going on with it. Right, question mark here, have you bought the dip? These metrics say 112,000 price was the local bottom. This was obviously on Cointelegraph. This was 14 hours ago, roughly. So key takeaways here, positive Coinbase Premium Index signals strong U.S. retail demand, buying the dip. Strong ETF inflows and Bitcoin treasury companies bolster BTC recovery potential. Right, we obviously saw Strategy, other companies buying Bitcoin as well. So the dip is being bought up here. The question now being is, can we actually sustain this 112,000 mark and go forward from this? Or will the shorts try to bring Bitcoin down even further for the quarter here, for them to possibly lock in some gains or make some position changes as well? That we don't know, right? And despite aggressive short side pressure, the risk of another liquidation event is decreasing. So that's all good things here, right? As long as we can maintain 112, I think we'll be okay. If not, we're probably going down to like 106, 105,000 based on what we're seeing here. And we can see this here on this one. So we got two stories, kind of a little bit more bullish and a little bit more bearish here. But Bitcoin struggles at 113,000 as Fed's Bowman's hints at faster rate cuts as well. Well, I think he hinted at like 1% drop in October. I don't know if that's going to happen there, but that's kind of what may be spooking the market as well. So Bitcoin faces problems recovering from its dip to 112,000 as traders agree on the odds of a fresh dip. Nasdaq performance is on the radar as overheated RSI conditions raise concerns over crypto knock-on effect, and Senior Federal Reserve official puts faster interest rate cuts on the table. So that definitely is not helping things there right now. So it's going to be a battle right now towards the end of the month. I mean, we only have roughly, 7 days left, 6 days left, something like that, in the month as it is already. So we'll see where we end up at. Otherwise, right now I'm just holding steady. Nothing goes up in a straight line for us. It's always going to be a bumpy ride here, and this is part of it. So be patient. If you got some cash, these might be good times to buy some dips here. If you don't have cash, just be patient, and we're going to have to hold on for a couple more weeks till we start, rocketing back up here a little bit, and maybe get a little bit better sentiment in the markets as well here. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, we're still doing really good here for the quarter, not only for Bitcoin miners. Bitcoin's okay, but Bitcoin miners, because of the HPCI potential, are doing fantastically. I'm up huge. I'm sure you guys are up huge too. It's never a great day to see things going down in value and in price gains and everything else, but we need to be used to it by now, at least, right? We've been, especially if you have been following me for a long time, we've been through this for over 3 years now, and we've been through this before. We go up nicely, we come back down a little bit, and then we continue to go back up, or sometimes we go down further. I don't think that's going to be the case here yet. I think we're still going to have more upside potential with these guys, especially if Cypher gets to deal with Oracle, or IREN gets to deal with Oracle, or whoever it might be, because Oracle and OpenAI are definitely in short supply of megawatts, and megawatts are going to be the driving force here going forward. And obviously we know Cypher has a lot of megawatts along with IREN, so Riot as well. I mean, they're all in Texas. We'll see who capitalizes on it or who gets a deal there, and what type of deal it is at that point as well. But that is it. That's all I got for you guys. Everything else that we've covered on the miners, as far as metrics, we've covered already. I mean, there's much we can take a look at other than maybe the market caps of these guys here as of today. Let me see if we can pull this up right now. Let me see where I want to go. I want to go to market cap on my sheets really quick, and I think we'll call it a day here. So market cap wise, we can see here, this was actually updated today. We can see that IREN is doing very, very well. It's at 11.3 billion market cap right now, double almost what Mara is at 6.5 billion. Riot's even pretty close on Mara right now at 6.3. Core being down a little bit to 5.2 billion roughly. Cypher now higher than Core is at 5.5 billion. Cleanspark still low at 3.9 billion, and BitTBT at 3.2, and then we got Hive. Our lonely little Hive there being at 762 million, less than 1 billion right now as it is. And you can see how many shares outstanding that these guys have as of last report. So yeah, a lot of these guys are still way undervalued in my opinion here. We can look at the enterprise metrics as well on that. We look at this all the time. And I mean, even that is showing us that IREN is definitely getting a huge premium on their potential there. Obviously, they've been doing great with their HPCI business internally and growing that out and doubling it. And well, I mean, we could definitely see them getting to like 60,000 GPUs here in no time with the way that they're going. But you can obviously see where things are right now as far as enterprise value and all that stuff here on these guys here. Okay, so that's it. Let's get into Q&A. See what you guys have to say. We'll call it a pretty short stream today because not much going on. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. All right, let's get into Q&A here, and we'll be out maybe by 9:15 if things go well. All right, as always, question marks. Preface those with a Q or question mark, and then I'm going to scroll up those that seem like we have too many questions or comments. So that's kind of nice, actually. Might have a day where I can actually watch a movie tonight. All right, what do we got here? Let's see. All right, let's see. Shing 5000 says, so happy to have made one. Been so long. Love from UK. Thank you so much. Yeah, usually I go later in the day or in the night. So happy to have you aboard here. Mr. X, yo, what's up, Seb? Doing good. Hopefully you're doing as well. Mr. X says it's just a healthy pullbacks. Agreed. Yeah, I mean, I'm not concerned about it right now. Good time to buy in if you haven't bought in already. Let's see. CJ says, not concerned at all. Perfect. Okay, that's awesome to hear. You guys are not concerned about this as well. NJ, sold my IREN at 17. I'm sick to my stomach about it. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's obviously run up a lot more after that. So that's the hard part is about selling it, and you don't know if it's going to be the top or if it's going to go up even further. Sometimes you just got to let it run a little bit, right? So yeah, I feel for you. You're not the only one. I know a lot of people that have also sold in that range and in 20s as well, only for it to run up higher before because they were concerned with um, the earnings report, right? But the earnings report actually came out much better. The stock actually ran up further from that point. All right. Sorry, Melon even says, Ange, oh man, I think we all feel for you there. John Kurtz bought more Cleanspark last minute before the close. Hold equal dollar in it and Cypher plus some Bitfarms. Which one would you add to all three? Bitfarms is difficult to hold. Bitfarms is obviously really volatile, going down as much as it has in the last couple of days, last 3 days. But I think there's still a lot of opportunity in that one. Along with, I would say, Cleanspark, Cypher. I mean, it's up there as far as valuation-wise is concerned. So that one, I mean, if you can buy the dips on, if you get any dips, maybe buy that one. But I think like Cleanspark is definitely way more undervalued than where Cypher is, and then even Bitfarms to this point as well. All right, let's see here. Brody question: do you think Bitfarms will retreat back to where it was before the pump up below $1.50 range? I don't think so, but you never know. But I don't think it will. All right. Victor C, is there any news for Bitfarms? Not that I have seen, no. So no. Gary, kind of funny all the posts about miners being dead in April and being better to be in BTC. 6 months later, BTC pretty flat, miners doing much better. Yeah, it is. It's definitely not juxtaposition, but it's a different narrative on the miners, right? It's megawatts instead of BTC mined. So that is kind of strange and kind of cool at the same time. It's nice that we were in these things to begin with, right? We're talking about Bitcoin, and that was going to be the thing that was going to be pumping these things up, but it's now turning out to be the megawatts, which that is awesome. All right, Victor C, what three miners is the most undervalued at current prices? I would say right now, Hive, Cleanspark, and Bitfarms still. All right, let's see. Sub, this is your daily reminder that IREN is going to over $100. I am waiting for that to happen. All right, I will be here for the ride. Right now, it's been a fun ride, and it hasn't slowed down yet. We'll see if we get a little bit of a pullback on it. But yeah, I'm all for it. Sadie, as always, thank you so much for the likes. Not Pedro Pascal. Sub, are IREN and Cypher ever going to stop going up? Any news from Cypher? Thanks. There's no really news from Cypher. The CEO there, Tyler Page, has been pretty quiet. Haven't heard anything from him on X or anything like that, or any podcasts. So maybe there's something in the works there. The only thing we have is a rumor that Oracle might be signing a deal with Cypher. Might be, right? We don't know that for a fact. It's just a rumor right now. All right. Mark Suave 25. Do you believe like me that when Bitcoin hits 150,000 before February of 2026, what will people say of this pullback? I mean, it's a small pullback. I mean, we got to 124,000 with Bitcoin, and now we're at 112,000. So it's not a huge pullback. It is a small pullback on it, but what will people say of it? They probably won't even remember it at that point, I think. They'll be just happy that Bitcoin's at 150,000. All right, Bitchin 82, with the global hash rate growing, but the public miners not adding much, who is? Miners profit is going down while BTC is sitting in a range here. Well, the miners are still adding. I mean, like BitDeer is still adding a bunch. You got Hive adding some more. Who else is adding now? Riot's going to be adding in Q3 or in Q4 and Q1 of 2026. Cleanspark's still going to be adding. Mara's still adding right now. So there are miners that are adding right now. Who else is adding as far as other than that? Well, it's going to be other companies around the world, the ones that we're not tracking. American BTC is adding as well. BitDeer is adding, obviously. Who else is adding? It could be nation states, could be, people also switching out for newer generation machines as well. They could be all part of that. All right, Gary, do you feel IREN's last ATM everyone complained about early in the year has been accretive? Opposite of Cleanspark 24 ATM results. Well, yes, I would say, but also I think I would say for both companies, they were accretive, right? Because if they didn't do the ATM in 2024 for Cleanspark, they wouldn't be at 50 exahash right now. And they wouldn't have the sites either. So I think in the long term, it is accretive. It's just when you look at it. But yes, IREN doing a 1 billion ATM or something like that has been accretive. for the company, but it was also accretive because of their Bitcoin operations and their growing operations. So it goes both ways, I think. If I don't think it's accretive when you have an ATM and you don't do anything with it, right? Then that's not accretive. You're just hoping that the stock goes up. But if they're adding infrastructure, buying machines, things like that, those are all good things. All right, BT2, does this hash growth force the miners to transition to HPCI? No, they're still profitable and quite nicely profitable still, where Bitcoin is right now even. So this doesn't force them to do it. Eventually, if they don't replace their older machines for newer ones, yes, then they might be forced to get into HPCI. Okay, not Pedro Pascal, top 3 miners in 2029. Oh my gosh. Oh, I mean, based on past performances, I would say it'd be probably like IREN, Cleanspark, and Hive potentially as far as operations are concerned. That's historically what we have seen here, at least in the last 2 years or so. All right, Manuel, do you think we will get a bear market in 2026 just like we did in 2022? I don't. I honestly don't. There's a couple things that are pointing to that we may not see that bear market. Depending on, again, what would you call a bear market? Going down 20, 30%? Would that be a bear market for you? That wouldn't be a bear market for me. A bear market would be 60, 70, 80% going down in Bitcoin. That would be it. But I don't think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see much more shallow declines and also much less pumps in Bitcoin here as far as percentage gains are concerned. But it's, Bitcoin goes up 10% in a month. You're going up basically, 14,000 or something like that, depending on where the price is at. And where we're at 150,000, looking at 15,000 gains in a month on Bitcoin, those are still really great gains. So I think it's just going to be an extended cycle of what we have seen here because of all the adoption and everything else. Victor C asks, has Riot sold Bitfarms? We don't know. We won't know until they actually report their Q3 results, which will be probably sometime in November, because they are under 5% of the shares owned right now, so they don't have any obligations to report any further selling. So I think they're out completely. If not, they were probably selling here at $3 and then some to make up for a lot of the losses that they had when they were selling below $1 even. So I think they're probably out completely by now. All right, BA2 sold Bitfarms 250 for 55 cents. Great premium to top up my position a bit. Okay. Greater for, okay. So, all right, good. That was good. Megan Khan, do you feel Cleanspark stock is pressed down? They might come up with 60x at first week of October. Investment in HPCI to pump in first half of October. Your thoughts, always appreciate your work. Yeah, thank you very much. Do I feel that they're pressed down? Yeah, it does seem like it. They're obviously the HPCI news with the $100 million in credit line with Coinbase edition, right? So they're at like 300 million right now as it is. I think that was a good thing. Market actually liked it in the after hours and pre hours, and then even during the trading day, it was actually doing pretty good until towards the end. So I think that's a good thing. I don't know if they're going to be at 60 exahash here come the first week of October. They've signaled that they're looking to do that in the fourth quarter, I think. So sometime in the fourth quarter we'll get that, but I'm not expecting it to be like the first week of October there. So that's kind of where I would stand on that. Desmarket Stats. Good evening, Seb. Good evening to you as well. After selling 2,700 shares of Bitfarms, I now own 600 shares with a DCA of $1.08. Very nice. That's awesome. You obviously took some profits there. Congrats. John Kreger. Hey, Seb, do you see Riot as a late bloomer? Can Q4 be big? Like maybe $80 per share? If they get a deal with somebody, then maybe we could see that happening. That or Bitcoin going up to 200,000 in Q4, that could also help. Or if you get a combination of Bitcoin doing well, going to like 150,000, and they get a deal, then yeah, I could possibly see that happening for them. But one of those things has to happen for sure. All right, talked about that one. Let's see, Victor, is there a possibility for Panther Creek deal this month of October? Panther Creek, that would be for Bitfarms. I don't know. I'm not a wall in the meetings there, so I don't know what's going on, to be honest with you guys. Nobody really knows, except for the insiders. But I do not know. That'd be great, but I don't know. All right. Virus, Sebastian, what happened to the Trump White House announcement about Bitcoins? I guess the announcement was Trump being at the UN. I guess that was it. I was waiting for that as well. That was a nothing burger. And then also, what's his name? Oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the guy that's Satoshi Action Fund right now. I'm drawing a blank on his name. I have it in my mind. I'm picturing the gentleman, but I just can't think of his name right. Dennis Porter. There we go. And Dennis Porter announcement was also a nothing burger. He's backing a Democrat to run for governor for California. That's pro Bitcoin. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. But yeah, that was definitely not earth-shattering news there. So we're going to take Dennis Porter's word going forward with a pinch of salt, I guess. All right. The Mortem, after the 9/18 rate cuts, BTC did not get going till about 10/9/2024. This is seasonality. Okay. Yeah. So market shenanigans happening here, not a big deal. All right. BA2, let's see, looming bond, crack, inflation pops, gold continues to hit new highs, stock market drops significantly. What does BTC do? I don't know. Well, there was something else I wanted to show you guys today. I just remembered that. You reminded me about gold. Let me see if I can pull this up really quick for you guys as well. There was something, chart that I saw somebody post on X here. Bear with me while I pull this up. I did bookmark it for myself so I wouldn't forget about it, and I still forgot about it. So let me see, what did I have here? All right. Did we talk about this yesterday? IREN full Roth report, price target of $82 on that one. That is huge. I forgot to put that one up. I forgot two things to put up today. What is going on with me? I'm getting old. All right, here's a chart that I want to show you guys. This is actually, let me pull this up to who it's from, so that way they get credit as well. Let's see if this works. Does it work? It works. Okay. The Bitcoin Therapist, gold is forecasting a massive rally in Bitcoin. The next 6 months are going to be biblical. So here's gold, right? And you can see the similar kind of setup here compared to Bitcoin. And then it finally took off here, going up much, much higher here. We could see the same thing here happening with Bitcoin and with the M2 money supply as well. I think that would pretty much show the same thing as well. So I'm still long-term bullish on not only Bitcoin, obviously the miners, and all that stuff here. So just want to show you this as well. And then the other part of it was, let me see here. This was from Franz Baker. Valuation IREN Limited. This is from price target change, right? This is going to, let's see if this pulls up. IREN doubling down on AI cloud, many moving pieces, but lots of power. Price target to $82. This is obviously very, very good news for us. It's basically a double from where it is right now, and that would be awesome. So, right, it's $82 current price that they had it at was $41.90. Yeah, this thing is going up higher here. But that was great news. I forgot to mention this as well. I probably should have led that with a thumbnail for them getting to $82. All right, my memory's not what it used to be when getting old, right? It's no fun getting old. It's like you're going backwards. But I remembered it in the nick of time, anyways. All right, let's get back into Q&A here. See what else you guys have to say. All right. Okay. I'm going to call you Lewis because I don't know how to pronounce the first part of your name, so I apologize. Guys, it was me. I just bought 1,500 shares at $289. Okay. There's always somebody that buys in late. Unfortunately, you were one of those people there, and hold on tight. It will go back up there and more so. XB Prod question: you think miners, Bitfarms especially, will go back to this run high again, or we might see a big retracement because it pumped too fast in the past days and come back to the $2 range, bit like pump and dump? I don't think it's going to be a pump and dump here. The reason I don't think that is because if you look at other miners as well, I mean, IREN really is more of a unicorn here recently on how that one has been pumping. But if we look at IREN here just really quick, you can see all this pumping that's happened. And there were days where it also came back down, 4%, 2 days in a row where it came down 3% and 3%, 6%. So it was more, a little bit more muted, and it was more extended of a rally here. It did come down, and we saw Bitfarms here a little bit. It's on the chart. I mean, it's a rocket, right? So it had to come back down here. We do have a little bit of gap here around 225 and 233. That might like to get filled here. So that's kind of where I would watch it right now, is somewhere around that range. And that would coincide here with what we have seen in the past as far as being support at $2 to like right around 220, something like that. So I would look for maybe entry points somewhere around there if we get them that far low. But other than that, I think it would probably bounce here. But yeah, this is a rocket, right? compared to what we've seen here with IREN. IREN is more of a grind up. Cypher, I think, is more of the same thing, more of a grind up, right? We saw that. Who else has had a nice run up here recently? Even Cleanspark, for the most part, this thing has been a grind up and down on that one. So yeah, I still think we'll go up higher with Bitfarms eventually. It's just taking a breather. It needed it to went up too fast, too quickly here. All right, let's go back. Okay. All right, BA2 says, meant to say I sold Bitfarms $2.50 puts for $55 today, 25 contracts, and I will be happy even if assigned. Okay, nice. All right, Garrett, with IREN still only miner profitable in Q2, I'm not convinced replacing miners again is the answer with only 2 years until next halving and difficulty rising faster than price in 2025. That's the conundrum there a little bit, right? You need Bitcoin price to go up better than the network hash rate. It hasn't. It might still in Q4, but at times we have seen it where the hash rate has gone up higher than the Bitcoin price. It does happen. It's not out of the question there, but yeah, I'm not saying that they have to replace miners now. The miners they purchased here in the last year, 2 years, well, are still going to be good probably for the next 2 years. So they still have time to replace them. Maybe even 3 years if the price cooperates. Let's see here. Adro808, thanks so much for the super chat. Let's see here. Have you looked at TIC? They do regulated maintenance and testing of data centers. It may be the best picks shovels played to the data centers themselves. I have not, but I will take a look at that one. Let's see. Ticker TIC. All right. I will take a look at that one because always love getting leads possibly. So thank you for that. Sour Melon says, Dennis lied to us. We were thinking it was going to be something to do with Bitcoin, but it turned out to be a campaign stump. Pete K, Bitfarms is a buy now. What is your price target? Thanks. I think it should be still much higher. I'm guessing somewhere between short term, probably between like $4 and $6 is where I think it should be, somewhere around there. All right. And not Pedro Pascal, what movie are you looking forward to maybe watching? I want to see the Fantastic Four. That's the one that I don't think it's out yet, but that's one I want to see. What was the other one that just came out? Mission Impossible is another one I haven't seen yet that I want to see, and there was another one as well. I'm trying to think of what the name of it was that I was looking to possibly see. But that's kind of where I'm looking at right now. All right, Heinz asks, are we selling Cleanspark? No, at least I'm not selling. I mean, that's up to you guys. Bob C, hey Sub, shouldn't we be hearing about McGuire releasing the second tranche of the 300 million credit facility to Bitfarms soon? Possibly, right? They got to get, there's some stipulations on that they're working towards building out a data center for HPCI. I don't know, I can't remember what the stipulations are part of it. I know they obviously have to have approvals and all that stuff in it. They got to do their due diligence, get plans in place, which they're working with T5, right? I think it's T5 that they're working there to help them draw plans and all that stuff, the planning on it. And then once they get that, then they should be able to pull on that 300 million credit facility there. Victor says, thanks for all the answers. You're very welcome. Paul Brown, Solana run up today was such manipulation, pure BS as it came down over $1. Did it go back down over $1? Where is it at right now? Let me see here. Solana after hours right now, that's down 5%. That's at $2.25 right now. Yeah, but this thing has also been like a rocket here. So that one's going to probably retrace a little bit here as well. All right, there's that one. Let's see. HB says, I'm new to the channel. What's your reasoning for saying Bitfarms, Hive, and Cleanspark are more undervalued than the rest? The reasoning behind it is just the valuation on the megawatts they have along with what they're actually generating here in revenue as well. You can see others have less megawatts, not maybe less megawatts, less Bitcoin or exahash compared to their peers, or like in Cleanspark's stance, they also have a lot of Bitcoin on HODL. So, I mean, that's kind of where I'm looking at. And they are getting into HPCI as well. So is Bitfarms, so is Hive. So, and Hive, I can understand why the valuation is the way it is because they don't have any operations in the United States. I think that might be a detriment to them as far as stock prices, but maybe I'm wrong on that one. But that's the only thing I can see that's wrong with Hive is no operations in the United States. So that's kind of where I would look towards those things. All right, virus special question. How many shares of Bitfarms do you still have? At what average price are you worried? My average price is $1.53, $1.55, something like that. And I have, is it close to, my back up to net? Jeez, hold on. Let me look where I'm at right now. Bear with me while I look it up. Let's see, where's it at? There it is. Let's see, number of shares. Close. All right, Bitfarms. I have right now 9,100 shares. I did have a heck of a lot more. I had, what was it, like 24,000 shares at the end of last year. Then I sold 8,000. I sold another 8,000 later on. Sold basically 2/3 of it. So holding on to those, I'm not worried about right now. All right, BTBT, another data center HPC play is Lumen equals Fiber Connect. Okay, that's another one I'm going to take a look at. The ones that I'm really trying to find are the ones that actually do data centers and things like that without having it run up here like crazy. But I'll take a look at that one as well. LUMN. Okay, we'll put that one down. Morton, where do you think Cypher tops out at? Eric Jackson, the open guy, thinks 35 by February. It might be even more than that, faster if they get a deal for some of their megawatts there, right? And depending on what kind of deal it is. We know that the megawatts are scarce, and OpenAI and Oracle and others need a lot of megawatts. And these guys do have it there. So it could be, you know, I mean, it's, what is it, $15 right now already? Is it $16? Where's it at? Let's see, Cypher, yeah, $14. It's close. So that one could definitely double here easily on any good news coming up for them, depending on the deal, obviously. But yeah, I mean, 35 by February, I think it's doable. All right, Christian, which are the top picks for you at this time in terms of undervalued miners? Thanks, Seb. That would be, like I said, Hive, Bitfarms, Cleanspark still on the list that I see, at least right now. Right. Okay, Gary says, I was just starting to think on Friday, IREN was getting fairly valued. Then they announced Q1 projections, and we are low again. Just need to deliver on the projections, and longer term will keep going up. I agree with you there, yeah. Them increasing their GPUs to 23,000 now is huge for them, right? Revenue is going to go up to about 500 million annual run rate. So that's huge. Yeah, stock's going to be going up here. I mean, plus the price target now to $82. That's also fabulous. So a lot of positives happening for IREN. All right, Michael, what happened to Bitfarms, and are the miners fall now? Miners might have a little bit of a retracement, a little correction happening for them. It's not out of the ordinary. We've seen this. It happens. I mean, they've been up nicely here. And like Bitfarms, right? Bitfarms has had a huge gains in a short period amount of time here. So a little bit of correction on that one probably was overdue. So I'm not too worried about it yet. All right, Paul Brown, what happened to the miners? Is it due to what Fed Chair Powell said? The market is overheated. Powell said he didn't say it. Did he say it's overheated? I heard that he said that the market is fairly high valued, I think. So maybe that's the same thing. But that's just one man, right? If AI does its thing and it actually provides more oomph to the economy and everything else, then we might be still low. All right, talked about that one. Let's see, Victor C, Bitfarms, 31,650 at 259. Okay, wow, you bought it a little bit higher there. Let's see, T-Bone, Bitfarms is long-term play. It will chop until deal is made. I would agree with you there, yep. CJ, would you think Mara would be more valuable because it has 52,000 Bitcoin? Do you think they can turn it around? I mean, we've been talking about Mara here forever. Mara has so much potential there. The only things that I see wrong with it is their operations are never consistent. And then they're getting into all these different things, which I think they're thinking that those are all good things. But it's not, I guess, what either institutions are looking for, or investors, whatever it might be. And then also the $2 billion in convertible notes, I think that might be a drag on it a little bit as well, because then you have the shorts going into it as well. Yeah, I just don't know on that one. And then also them continuing to dilute doesn't help. So that's a tough one. It's not performing like it did last cycle, that's for sure. S says hardly a crash, more like a dip. Yeah, it was more clickbait than anything else. But then again, I realized I should have probably went with IREN getting a price target increase to $82. I probably should have went with that. What else here? Jabazet. Hi Seb. Do you think CORZ will tank after the buyout? Well, after the buyout happens, I mean, there's no more CORZ, so it's gone. You will get Core Weave shares at that point if you're still in it. So, yeah. Michael Anthony. So how fall will these miners fall? That I guess you must look at each of them, and shouldn't they raise cash while shares are up? Some of these guys are probably raising cash, right? Using ATMs and things like that. If they need it, if they still have a really good position, maybe let the stocks run a little bit, catch a little breather, right? They've been obviously pulled on a lot in the past when the stock prices were much lower. So, but yeah, I mean, IREN probably should be pulling on that trigger a little bit here, right? Not too much to slow down its momentum to the upside, but just pull on it enough to where you can get some nice cash there at reasonable, very nice price per share. CJ, when does Mara have an advantage? You would think they have some kind of advantage having 52,000 Bitcoin, but it seems like data centers are the way to go. Yeah. And that the reason I say that is not only for them, but I think also for maybe even Cleanspark now, is that there's just so many on-ramps to get to Bitcoin exposure, right? Strategy, Metaplanet, Semler Industries, all these companies that are buying up Bitcoin for the treasuries. You got the ETFs as well. So you go that route. So there's a lot more on-ramps. I don't know if that valuation is going to be valued properly for the Bitcoin miners that have a huge hodl position here. It does help with Bitcoin going up. So if you mined it at a much lower cost and you held on to it for 100% gains or 200% gains, whatever it might be when they do sell it, so that is very good gains on it. But again, we'll have to wait and see if they actually end up selling it. All right, let's see. Your mom's other guy. Okay. Question: top 3 miners going into 2026. Miners, I mean, as far as operations, are we talking about price appreciation in the stock price? If it's going to be stock appreciation in the stock, I would say probably IREN, Cypher, and I mean, the other one's going to be a draw between probably Cleanspark, Riot. Who else is in there? Bitfarms, maybe even as well. And I'm trying to draw like BitDeer as well. BitDeer's got a lot of growth happening in the end of this year and into next year as well. So those guys there. All right. Let's see. Victor C. Is Bitfarms doing an ATM or need cash at the moment? And no. From what they've stated in the past, is they have enough cash to sustain their business operations. Plus, they're funding their growth and operations from selling Bitcoin, right? From what they mine. So it doesn't seem like they need to pull on the ATM, but they might have pulled on the ATM here. Just a little bit, just to give them a little bit more cash buffer, but they still had a healthy balance sheet as of the end of Q2. So I don't know if they needed to, but they could have. Alrighty. Anthony, which miner has the most data centers? I mean, none of these guys really have data centers, except for maybe TeraWolf now has a data center built out. IREN has some data centers in Quebec, Hut 8 as well. Or not Quebec. IREN has data centers in Canada. Hut 8 has some data centers. Hive has some data centers, like one data center. But if you're looking at like tier 3 data centers, none of these guys have it right now. IREN's building it out. But just the sheer number of sites, if you want to call that, it would be probably Cleanspark with 33 different sites that they have on it. But those are all, right, like less than tier 1 excuse me, data centers right now as it is. So they need to get those things bumped up. All right. Chillaxing, is Fufu an option? So BitFufu, small miner there, big number of sites with megawatts, and a lot of the stuff that they do is for hosting them. That might be an option. They're also talking about possibly getting into HPC AI or something like that, or depending if some of their sites are worth it. So I don't know. All right, Christian, do you think IREN can run a lot further and in the near future, or should it get corrected soon? I sold it and it was hard for me to find a good entry again. Thanks. I mean, we're seeing these kind of entries here coming up from time to time on IREN. We're not seeing anything massive yet. You got the new price targets from the analysts there of $82. That's going to be pumping the stock here. They're getting more GPUs installed as well, right, to 23,000. That's going to be pumping the stock up as well. So, I mean, we saw a little bit of a dip today. Not much of a dip, but we did see it. Prior to that, we saw a couple of dips here where it went down, 4%. We had a dip that was almost 2%. We had another dip here that was 2.5 roughly. A dip that was 7%. Another one that was 3%. So, I mean, you do have those from time to time as it's going up. Try to catch those dips possibly is maybe the best thing you can do. All right, that'd be my recommendation on these guys if you sold out. And I'll be honest with you guys, I was contemplating selling this thing before earnings as well. But then I just started doing some more research on them as far as what's their potential, what's going on with them, where are they heading towards. And I decided, no, I'm going to hold on to it, see where we go. Because even at that point, I was up quite nicely. At $22, I was up, what was it at that point? Close to 200% on it. Yeah, I think it was like close to 200% of being up on it. And I was contemplating it, but I'm glad that I decided not to. And that, I held on to it and decided to keep it on for a little bit more gains here, which I think was definitely the right decision now, right? Sometimes you question yourself, but look in hindsight, it was the right decision at that point. All right, back here. Let's see, talked about that one. Okay. All right, BTBT, CORZ is dropping hash rate. Which other miners will decrease hash rate as they transition to HPC AI? We have heard from others, Riot. We've heard it also from IREN, I believe, that if they get great deals, substantial deals, that they would entertain taking hash rate offline at that point, right, to move the megawatts into HPC AI. So that's one of those. Cleanspark, if they're looking to use any of the sites around Georgia, around Atlanta, they would be probably taking off some megawatts there as well, or hash rate for that to be turned into megawatts for HPC AI. But they could also put those in other sites potentially, or get other sites as well. So that one. Who else? I'm trying to think off the top of my head here right now. BitTier is another one, right? Their site in Ohio, which was supposed to be for Bitcoin mining, is now being basically held on for HPCI potential. But they have so many other sites that could put the megawatts there anyways. It's just going to probably extend the time that they wanted to get to a certain amount of exahash. I'm trying to think anybody else. Bitfarms, same thing, right? Bitfarms has said that they're watching the site. If they get a deal for that, they would be willing to move that into HPCI megawatts. So, yeah, I mean, I think all these guys here would probably be okay with reducing some hash rate for megawatts in HPCI, at least right now. All right. Gas Tank SE. Sebastian, question, why didn't you sell your Bitfarms shares when it was 4 plus? Do you think it will go higher than 4 before 2026? Before 2026, I don't know if it will. If it does, that's great. If it doesn't, I'm not too worried about it. Right? I'm in these things for the longer term. I've been in them since already 2022, right? So I've been in them basically almost 3 years now. So I'm okay with holding a little bit longer. I'm not a day trader, so I don't really day trade these things. It's like, do I think there's potential for them to go up higher from where they are right now based on at least the resources that we have, right? All of these guys are mostly going to be growing their hash rate or megawatts. There's obviously a huge demand for megawatts right now. A lot of these guys have great sites and great locations as well. And that's going to be pumping them up. And then like the case of IREN is becoming a little hyperscaler themselves as it is with just the way that they're building out their own Neo Cloud for their customers. And I mean, like the report that we saw yesterday, or the day before, yesterday, getting to 23,000 GPUs, they're seeing huge demand even before the stuff is installed. So, it's another reason to hold on even longer potentially. But that's just me. Could be wrong, but we'll see. All right, Super Chat, $2. Thank you so much. Own any SBET? I do not own any SBET, no. All right, BTBT Bitfarms is a $20 stock. I saw this in an internet video, so it must be true. Yeah. Do your own research as always. All right, Gary Mara and its shareholders would be better to sell their mining division and buy more Bitcoin with money and could re-rate as a holding company. Wall Street hates Bitcoin miners, so they get no credit. That could be another reason as well. Yeah. Or they could, they do own 65% of their own sites now. So, they do have megawatts. And that's another. Do I have Mara on my map? I don't think I have Mara. That's the one I forgot to add in there, didn't I? Let me see. Where's my map here? I don't think I have Mara on it. That's the one that I forgot. And you guys even remind me about that. I got Hut, Other Galaxy, Applied. Hut, do I have Mara? Applied. I got Applied, Hive, Core, BitDeer, Cleanspark, Cypher, IREN, and Bitfarms. I'm missing Mara. I could add Mara in. Okay. I knew I was missing somebody, but I couldn't. I should have probably just made a list and crossed it off. But let me add that to it. Add Mara to map. Okay, we'll see what their locations are that they own, and maybe we'll put the ones that they own, not the ones that are still hosted. But we'll add that in there as well. But they do have quite a lot there as well, so they might surprise us. Who knows? Okay, Christian, you're very welcome as always. Terrence, let's see here. If we assume that Bitcoin could double from here, and you don't think certain miners will only double from here, would you consider selling a portion of those and flipping into Bitcoin? Maybe the miners that don't have any HPCI ambitions. So maybe those, which is, I mean, is anybody not looking into HPCI anymore? I think they're all pretty much looking into it. So I think that's still going to be fueling those guys here going forward, right? Because that's just a huge demand right now. So the narrative has changed around the Bitcoin miners. It's the megawatts they own, not so much the Bitcoin that they mine anymore. The Bitcoin that they mine is great because, like in IREN's case, that's helping to fund operations and grow their HPCI business. So if you can do that and grow it, that's a nice little flywheel there. All right. Kung Fu Practitioner, thanks, Seb. Appreciate your time and vids, especially the answers to the live chats. You're very welcome. Thanks for coming in, as always. CB, Bitfarms starting to pee me off. I'm still at $2.30 Canadian a share, but today's pullback cost me $40,000. Thankfully, IREN and Cleanspark are helping ease the pain. Yeah, it's definitely can be quite painful if you have a lot of shares of something. I know that for a fact there. All right, BA2, thumbs up for Seb. Great effort gathering this data and hosting it. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you as well for coming in here. CJ, do you think a little miner like Can is worth a little investment at 75 cents currently? Thanks. Can has not performed anywhere near like the other miners have performed here. Let me see if I got this one even in here in the list. I don't know if I do. I can't. Yeah, I do. Small miners, Canon. There it is. Okay, let's take a look at this one really quick. So Canon, as you can see here, I mean, obviously it was up much higher here. It's been kind of floundering here. So I don't know. They're small miner. Yes, they also produce their own ASICs that they also sell to the market. I mean, I don't know for them. I don't follow them closely enough to really be able to tell you one way or the other. Right? So do your own due diligence on that one, unfortunately. I wish I had a better answer for you, but that's usually the case here. If I don't know something, I'm not going to, spew off a bunch of BS. I just don't know. So, but it hasn't performed nowhere near has like the other miners at least. Okay, take that for what it's worth. Okay, that one. Chillaxing. I bought a lot more crypto miner stocks this morning before it crashed. I decided to buy even more to lower my buy-in average. In the long run, it doesn't matter if you're holding it long term. Correct. I would agree with you. Brett says tops in Seb. I don't think so. Not yet. More Tim, no minor question. When do you think BTC gets to 300,000? Sometime in late 2026, 2027. I would say that. All right. Kung Fu, how upside can IREN by the end of 2025? What's the, I could see it, oh geez. I mean, with them, we could see them getting to easily $60, $80 by the end of the year here. Even higher than that, maybe. Right? Sauer and others are saying that we're going to go into $100 by the end of the year here. So I think the potential is there. Number one, is there any work required for miners to convert to HPC AI? Yes, there is a lot of work required for that, right? Depending on the customers that you get, depending what the requirements are, you might be able to get away with, a tier 1 data center if they're okay with it. Otherwise, you're looking at tier 2 or tier 3 at the higher end scale of things. So yes, there is quite a bit of work that needs to be done for it, unless you're actually building out data centers kind of like IREN is, that are that can be easily transformed into, tier 2, tier 3 data centers potentially as well. So they had the hindsight to do it there. Okay, I talked about that one. Okay, Gary, would it be quieter living next door to an HPCI data center or beside a Bitcoin miner, both getting bed press when no place is isolated areas? I mean, okay, so for Bitcoin miners, you have two ways of cooling those: air, right? Or you can do the immersion cooling, which is quieter than the air ones are, because those things are loud. I mean, that thing is like a vacuum cleaner running, basically, with the fans going. So I think immersion cooling would be better. And then with the AI data centers, you still have the cooling systems, the fans running on those, but those are still quieter than Bitcoin mining sites. I have one data center site that I drive by on the highway where I live, not too far from me, and you barely hear anything out of that thing. If it was a Bitcoin mining farm with air cooling, you would hear that thing. It's probably, I would say, maybe 150 yards, 200 yards from the highway there. And I like to usually roll down the windows when I'm going down the road. I just like the breeze, but you don't hear it. Even when I go by the street on it where it's located, you don't really hear it. So I think HPCI would probably be the HPCI, and immersion cooled Bitcoin miners would be better. All right. Michael Anthony, Bitfarms had some type of call Friday when 3 men and 1 woman were saying something about data centers, or a man were saying, don't know about that one. Morton, 27. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the $49 for the super chat. Many thanks for you guys coming in here. Greatly appreciate you guys. So thank you very much for that. And then Gary, funny, you're back to January targets of $60 to $80. Seb got roasted giving those numbers April and could end up correct after all. That is true, right? I forgot about that. My targets were $60 to $80 here. We could actually go way beyond that. My targets were based on Bitcoin operations, but the Bitcoin operations are leading to them having getting into HPCI and funding that and everything else. So my estimates could have been right. You're right, right? I will never say I told you so, but yeah, I mean that would be great if we got back up to there. All right. Sour Melon asks, do you miss mining yourself, Seb? I don't miss the having to go in at night when things are not working, turning machines off, turning back on, trying to fix them, trying to repair them. I don't miss that part of it. The build out was fun. I enjoyed the build out of it. Learned a lot from that process. I automated the heck out of that thing. So in order to be as lean and mean as possible as we could be, without having to have somebody there, I built systems to basically monitor each machine, and then I had that report to myself. I had a dashboard up and running. I did that all internally too. Also had an automated system for the fan cooling. So I put up these little, what were they called? Not the Arduinos, but the other ones, the Raspberry Pis. So I had the Raspberry Pis with like USB thermometers attached to them, spread out in the little data center that we had here. And we had fans. We had, let me see here. What do we have? We had four intake fans that were blowing cool air in, and we had 4 outtake fans also that were pumping the hot air out. And I had it set up in the aisles where if one aisle was starting to get hot, I could turn on certain intake fans and turn off other fans as well. So it was pretty automated in that point. During the wintertime, didn't have to really worry about that much because it was just cold. And with the fans just being there open, didn't have to run. They would be pulling in the cold air, cooling the machines at that point. But it was, I love the build out part of it, the learning process of it. But then the day-to-day operations were kind of boring, but I still had to do it, right? I still had to go in, turn off machines, turn them back on, figure out what the heck's going on, see if there's a problem with the switch or something like that, or a fan that went bad. But it wasn't that bad. We only had a total at one point running, we had 400, close to like 450, 470 machines running. So it was small compared to obviously what these guys are dealing with. All right. Okay. Chillaxing. Why is Bitcoin dropping right now? Is it dropping? This is like on the daily time frame, the 24-hour time clock here on it. So it's just going back over it. Let me see. Where is it at right now? Bitcoin actually is up a little bit. So on the chart that you're seeing is the 24-hour chart. This one is here, the current chart of what's going on with it right now on the daily. It's up a little bit, 0.21%. So we're not too bad. Okay, we've gone about an hour here. Let's see what else we have here. We got a couple more questions here. Michael. Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy Executive Chairman, joins closing bell overtime to discuss his meetings with the U.S. policymakers on a potential strategic Bitcoin reserve bill that you can watch on MSTR. Okay, I'll have to take a look at that one. All right. Let's see. Sadie says, love my little home farm. Keeps me busy. So you have a Bitcoin mining farm? That's awesome. How many machines do you have? But that's fantastic. You might, I don't know what power you have or what your cost is. Where I live now, it's about 11 to 12 cents per kilowatt hour. That's not great. But yeah, that was a fun time. Christian, what is your take on these altcoin treasury companies like SBET? They had a good run to start with, but lacking now. I'm not a big fan of those. I'm a fan of them buying the treasuries, like Strategy buying Bitcoin, and obviously BMNR buying Ethereum and all that. I'm a big fan of that. I'm just not a big fan of investing in those things. I think their time has come and gone possibly. And maybe I'm wrong on it, right? How much of a premium should they get for holding Ethereum when I can hold it myself? I just don't get the business model there a little bit. So that's just me on it though. All right, David Humphrey says, last dip before pump, then dump. Remember the math on the 3% ETF allocation, top at 135 to top at 135, then to 45. Okay, so you're thinking we're going down to 45? I don't think so. So the top would be 135, then going back down to 45,000 on Bitcoin. I don't see that. I could be wrong, but I don't see that. Let's see. Sadie sometimes says I'm around 50 GPUs, 30 CPUs, 10 cents per kilowatt. So you're on GPUs. So you're obviously not mining Bitcoin. You're mining something else at that point. Ethereum was great to mine during the day, but not so much anymore. You obviously can mine other things with GPUs, but yeah, those are even quieter than the Bitcoin miners. A good one to mine with maybe is probably like for Litecoin, which also mines Doge. I haven't looked at the economics on that one, but that one also was pretty profitable, even at times better than Bitcoin mining sometimes. All right. Gaurav, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name here, especially if, let's see, if you have to choose between Bitfarms and Cleanspark as of today, which one will you choose for the next 1 year period? Oh, man. Okay. That's a tough question. It's like having to pick between your two sons. Which one do you pick now and which one? I don't know. I would say pick both of them, depending which one has more potential. Cleanspark has potential. They got a bunch of sites as well. They got a great sites in Atlanta or close to Atlanta. Bitfarms has great sites as well. I don't know. Buy both, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Question. David says 45 in 1 year, 45,000. Oh, be a little bit more specific, please, because I'm not sure if you're saying 45,000 in a year or you're going to be 45 in a year. All right. Let's see. Michael, today calling digital gold and was saying two types of companies. Okay. David, or you have a different bottom target and why? For Bitcoin, my bottom target was going to be if Bitcoin was going to have a similar cycles to like the past, where we get to about 180,000 this time around. My bottom was going to be around, I think I calculated it was going to be like between like 79,000 and like 85,000, something like that was going to be the bottom at that point. That was, if you recall, the bottom in the 2022 cycle came in at 15,500, right? If I'm not mistaken, I had it at 13,500. So I was pretty close to the bottom at that point. Missed it by $2,000 roughly, where I thought I was going to bottom out. So, but again, I don't I could be wrong here, right? I could be definitely wrong on this, but I think this is going to be an extended cycle for many reasons. All right. Okay. Gary, can you do a Polish victory lap at the end of the year if IREN finishes the year over 60? I remember when Alan Kowicki did that after winning in NASCAR. Again, I'm old. A victory lap? Like, where do you want me to run around here? My little basement here? I can maybe do that. David, no worries on the caps. Chillaxing. So, is BMR not a good investment? In my personal opinion, I wouldn't invest in it, but I'm not a big fan, like I said, of this treasury companies. But that's just me. Love what they're doing, buying the stuff up, right? Making the price go up, but how much of a premium should they get? That's just my take. I could be wrong. MicroStrategy obviously has not performed well this year, even though they've been, stacking more Bitcoin than ever. I mean, it peaked last year at 540. It's come back down. It has definitely not underperformed, but Bitcoin hasn't also performed that well. So maybe if Bitcoin goes up and Ethereum also goes up, maybe at that point those things run. I don't know, but I think there's better horses to potentially put your money on. David, yeah, so 45,000. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case here. David Humphrey says because of MicroStrategy and their cost basis their cost basis. Their cost basis is 70-some thousand, but my estimate was not because of their cost estimates. This was just looking at the math on Bitcoin and the cycles that we've had in the past, where it went down to, what was the percentage and stuff like that. That was based on just math. So that's kind of the way I looked at it. All right. Sauer says treasuries are scams. I don't think they're scams. I think, they make it easier for people to get into having exposure to Bitcoin and Ethereum and others as well, like Soluna. But yeah, I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan. That's just me. Could I be wrong? Could I be missing money on the table? Yeah, possibly. But I'm okay with that, right? I wasn't a big fan also of the companies that were doing the BTC yield, right? Getting 5, 6, 7% yield on putting Bitcoin on with those people, and I'm glad I didn't get into that. Let's see. Kramer was saying stay away on BMNR, that David Faber did research, and Kramer said to stay away. Well, Kramer also said stay away from Bitcoin. So, right, can go by that. David Humphrey, I have a feeling the optimal return increase will allow child exploitation material and make a more severe bear. The op return increase will allow. I'm not sure how you would. Are you talking about like maybe images or something like that being on the blockchain? That would be child exploitation. I don't know about that, right? And hopefully we have things in place that do not allow those things on the chain. But yeah, I don't think. I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have a severe bear market because of that. But I could be wrong. All right. Christian says, is Kramer not a contrarian indicator? At times he is, yeah. All right. David says, core devs and version 30. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But I hope that's not the case, right? Children are sacred, right? You should not harm children whatsoever. I think anybody that does harm the children should probably get, the lights extinguished from their souls. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not a big fan of that. I think children are the most innocent of us all here. So they need to be protected as much as possible. All right, let's see. So core versus NOTs debate. Hey, I got to do some more research on the NOTs thing or the nose things, whatever they call it, NOTs. Yeah. Absolutely agree. All right, let's see what else we got here. We got Chillaxing having one more coming in, and we'll call it a day. Kramer thinks everything he doesn't understand is a meme stock. Okay. That's a fair take. I could see that. All right, guys, we'll call it a day here. We're going on over an hour as it is already. I was thinking I was going to watch a movie tonight. Maybe not. We'll see. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow's another day. We'll see what Cypher comes back with, any news or anything like that about a deal on their sites with Oracle or OpenAI or any of these guys here. We'll keep watching. We'll see where things go. All right. This is just a little dip that we're seeing right now. Not a big thing to freak out over. I've been through this many times with these guys. So stay patient, stay humble, right? Keep your heads up and enjoy it. It's still going to be a fun ride, I think. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love y'all. And until then, have a great night. Bye.